Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Buckets, Blitzes, and Breakaways podcast. This is episode 2 of the football podcast. Welcome back. I'm your host, Evan, along with my brother Jake.
Hello, everyone.
And our good buddy Hayden as well.
Hello.
We have the OG cast of the old podcast here, but now it's
Yes,
all
we do.
rebranded, and we're doing our thing now. So
We're ready to go and lock and loaded.
absolutely. Obviously, huge news this week in football. Joe Burrow going down with with a nasty injury. It's grade
Yes.
3 turf toe, right?
Yes, which is kind of a weird situation because like you think of turf toe and you're like, all right, that's maybe a week off, but like they're rating it a worse. I'm assuming it's because there's something below the tissue of the actual toe where it's like making him not able to like properly, kind of stand on it, especially at a NFL level. Like you want to make sure that you have the right kind of like you want to be in the right physique. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
no, especially with being a QB, like you gotta
100%.
your stance is everything, right?
Yeah,
So
I did
Yeah.
read somewhere that he tore just what every tissue in his toe. So
yeah, that's like because
Exactly.
it's
So,
right under the knuckle of your big toe, I believe. So if you
yes,
care,
yeah.
yeah, I can't imagine he was having like
So,
I don't know if he could walk on that foot. Like I don't blame him,
so
but
he's out for at least 3 months.
so with that being said, my take is I think the Bengals are cooked.
yeah, I
I think they're
mean,
I think they're 2-0. I think they're 2-0 and they have really good pieces. They obviously still have T Higgins. They obviously have Jamar Chase. They obviously have um, Chase Brown and that defense isn't bad as people say it is. So like when I say they're cooked, I mean they're cooked of the opportunity of just having like going like 6-1 until he comes back because he's gonna miss. I think I did kind of the calculation. It's around like 10 games he's gonna miss if it's 3 months, and that's
that's
being nice.
crazy.
I said so, and that's a lot of games if we think about it. The NFL is about 18 weeks. You're missing. You've already played two of them, so 10 games. Well, that's like 12. That's 12 games
Yeah,
already played in the season.
yeah,
Especially hypothetically, let's say they lose all 10 right now and they go 2-10. Well, you can't really come back from 2-10, unfortunately.
yeah. That's a pretty
So,
rough one to come back from.
and unfortunately, when I say this, yeah, I say it with kind of a grain of salt. If you really think about it, I don't know if you guys know who he is, but Joe Burrow looks insanely like Andrew Luck. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he used to be a quarterback in the NFL that was really good. Like I think phenomenal. But he kind of stopped his career early just because of the fact of injuries and because of how bad the O line was in Indy and because of that they would pay the other guys their defensive players offense anywhere but they wouldn't get their O linemen and they wouldn't like kind of like sure the Bengals drafted for kind of the future but Burrow is he is the literal definition of NFL pocket passer in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
There's not a single quarterback like him. He is the version of Tom Brady of like kind of the new generation. Sure, Mahomes has the legacy as of it right now, but just strictly pocket passer, it is Burrow right now. I feel. Um,
yeah,
so
that's
it's
valid.
it's gonna be it's gonna be rough to see how they do. They got a good win against Jacksonville. And they needed that one, especially because it's Jacksonville. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see how Jake Browning does. I want to see if they go and get a quarterback or if they trust in the guy. Maybe even go get a backup. But
Yeah, that's
we'll
true.
have to wait and see. Yeah.
Jake, what do you think? What is your opinion about it? Obviously, Jake's a Bengals fan, so
Yes. Yes.
what do you think about it, buddy?
Why didn't say it like
I
that?
don't know. I don't know why I said that
But
like you're some dumb kid in a classroom. Like, hey, buddy, what's your opinion on things? We're trying to get you involved.
well, I mean, obviously it's very unfortunate because Burrow's like not just because he's on my Bengals team, but like he's overall just one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league, regardless.
Yeah.
And obviously hearing and seeing that he went down like made me cry inside because I had like a lot of confidence in this team this year. I still do because we were losing against Jacksonville and Jake Browning started to come back to win the game. So that gave me kind of hope. And we also play the Vikings next week, and J.J. McCarthy's way too hit or miss already. So I have hopes to that we win that game too. But I mean, going forward, I still have faith in us that we can still hold our own and win a few, like maybe not every game, but like win a nice portion of them and like stay in the hunt.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a big test
Like
for the.
our defense. I mean, maybe Burrow will help us with our slow starts because that's been our major issue. Just slow starts, and not getting going when we should. So like Burrow was chasing the game,
Yeah.
and our defense has like they've been okay. Like we barely escaped the Browns in week 1, and
Yeah,
then
and I feel
like
sorry, you keep
yeah,
going.
like our defense they've been okay as Ham stated earlier, but like there's a lot of room to improve. I don't know how healthy we are. I'm not too sure about the injury report on our defense. As far as I know, we're pretty healthy. We just, you know, yeah. Like long story short, I still have some faith in us, but we'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
I think it shows when like the Bengals don't start paying their players, especially before the season. And I get it. Like they like especially when you're a top tier player, you want to get paid. That it makes 100%.
Yeah,
That's kind of like given. You know what I mean? But the thing is when you want to make a championship team, defense always has to be kind of the priority. So like Burrow's already good. They could have got rid of Higgins. I honestly believe that. I think Higgins could have went go somewhere played somewhere else, and they would have been fine with. I think his name is Andre Voisa.
yeah. I
I
was gonna
think
say
that's
we
the
have like some decent young guys on our squad too. Like,
exactly, and that's how you make that's how you develop. Actually, is get them on the field, right? So it's a little bit interesting on the kind of the pursuit of what they do in the off season, but I think they'll be fine.
and this is kind of a hot take, but I was kind of thinking about it the other day. But like when we got rid of Jesse Bates on defense when he went to the Falcons, I honestly
yes,
think that's when our defense kind of took a turn. Like it just shows how much of an effect he had. Because when we
yeah,
had
hundred
Jesse
percent,
Bates, like our defense, like we were like probably like a 10+ win team. He goes to
100%.
Atlanta and now we start struggling. So
Yeah, 100%. That exactly. And I'm a big person on this is even just strictly for the whole NFL and is the biggest thing is coaching. I think coaching it's the proof is in the pudding. It really is. That how you look at a coach and especially towards quarterbacks is how they'll play. However, that coach is developing that quarterback, that's how the team will do. It's kind of this proven. I mean, if you look at the Giants when Daniel Jones was there, um, they were literally horrible, the worst team I've ever seen. And Daniel Jones looked horrible. Brian DeBall didn't look good with him. But then he moved to the Vikings. He was kind of a backup. Did his kind of his like midlife crisis as most quarterbacks do when they kind of leave a team. And then he's now with the Colts. And by all means, the Colts have escaped some games where they aren't playing the best teams, but they're still 2-0. And Daniel Jones looks pretty okay for a quarterback, right? And so it just shows that like sometimes it's most of the coaching, right?
Speaking of the Colts, though, and Daniel Jones and all them, he's leading them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing pretty solid so far. He's led them
Yes.
to their first 2-0 start since 2009, which is
Which was
insane.
also the same time when Andrew Luck was there. I think the big thing with the Colts is like, when you have JT, a really good running back, and then that offensive line is filthy. Um, we got to also remember they played the Dolphins week 1, which it's the Dolphins right now. The Dolphins
Very
look really
true.
bad.
Very true.
Um, and then you mix that in with Denver being still really young. I like Bo Nix, but you can see that he's still really a young quarterback. Early in that game, he struggled with just kind of making those kind of easy throws, and he also just with running the ball too. So I think the Colts kind of took advantage. But one thing is for sure, more than that Colts offense is that Colts defense is very elite this year. It shows the defensive line has been very very much rushing at the quarterback like there's like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think also when you look at that secondary is super underrated right now. Um, I think they're gonna kind of carry off that, and that's how they're gonna get a couple wins. I think for sure right now, in my opinion, I think the South is better than people think. I think the Colts have been really good. I think the Texans have been in games where they should have won. And we got to remember, there's some 0-2 teams right now that are like, that should be 1-1, but because of their scheduling. It's just how it is.
Yeah,
Like the Texans and Colts are going to be those teams where they're going to be kind of leading the South, I think.
probably.
But
Yeah,
um,
but
but yeah, I think at the end there with the game with the 60-yard field goal,
yeah,
I'm surprised.
I think that was I think above all else, Spencer Schrader, the kicker for the Colts. I think he was the highlight of that game in the sense that the dude clutched up, but he also sold the bag a little bit. It was a 60-yard field goal, and there was an instant penalty on the defense for I think he held down the center after the snap,
Yeah,
and then it with 15-yard penalty saved the game right there because he missed the 60-yarder. And Spencer Schrader is officially still 100% in his career. He's 5 for 5 last game, 5 for 5, I believe this. Yeah, he's 5 for 5 last game, and then 5 for 5 the week before. So he's 100% in his career. And what a moment for the rookie, eh?
yeah, no, that just shows like sometimes it's hard to translate from the NFL. Sorry, from the NCAA to the NFL. I
Yeah.
think, especially with just the how fans react to stuff. When you're in college football, it's so much louder. It's so much harder to hit a kick. I feel like than the NFL. It's kind of a weird situation. But yeah, I think just like he's been playing good. But I think just it's just that's just a bad situation for the Broncos. And in full seriousness, you have the game in the bucket basically, and then
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, they were
kind
up
of just
until the
kick
final,
it.
obviously the final second. But I mean, they were held scoreless in the fourth. Like you were saying about the Colts defense, like they did their job in that fourth. They held them, and
Yeah,
it worked out in their favor in the end.
yeah.
And speaking of the Colts, sorry to cut you guys off. I got a question for you, for primarily for Hayden. Going back to Week One, how the Colts absolutely dismantled the Dolphins. What's your opinion on the Dolphins team right now? Like, what changes would you make?
For the Dolphins,
Yeah,
I think the biggest thing with the Dolphins problem is it goes right down to the core, and you're gonna hear this a lot on the podcast throughout the weeks. Um, Coaching matters so much to me, and you can clearly see there's something wrong with McDaniel's. I think it's Greer. I could be wrong, but the general manager himself should be. I think they should full. They call it a clean house. They should fully clean the house. You got Tua, but you don't have to get rid of the players. I mean, when you start having player meetings by literal week two, there's a good reason why. I think it just shows it's probably because of the coaching. When you're in Miami, Party City, right? So there's gonna be some probably addiction problems. I really think it's something behind the scenes more than people think it is. But yeah, with the Dolphins, it strictly just has to be you have to clean the house. You have to start get a new coach that's like maybe like go out and get there's some good coaches right now in college, which by all means they don't want to be in college, they want to be in the NFL obviously.
Yeah,
Go get like a Bill O'Brien that's at Boston College right now, and he's been okay with them, but my God, he'll do really good with I think Miami. You could go get out and get like Dan Lanning or like someone that's like I've been like I'm not saying Bill Belichick would do this, but go get Bill Belichick, give him the bag, and he'll go to Miami. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
get a get a coach that's gonna either get a young coach that's gonna start a franchise with, or get an old coach that knows how to start a franchise because they have they're just they're just playing because they're a franchise. It almost feels like they need to relocate or they have to like I said build a franchise because
yeah.
they have nothing going right now.
yeah,
I do
But
think
yeah,
that I do think that there's a lot of truth to what you're saying about the coaching because Mike McDaniel. I don't know if you heard what he said in the post game
yes,
interview. He
I've
said
seen them. Yeah,
yeah he said, and I quote, "To win games, you have to win the game and not lose it." Well, I'm glad he figured that one out. Let's see if he can
yeah.
put that on the
I
scoreboard
feel
then.
like I he like as like a kind of like a it might be just a troll thing. Like he might just
I
be
hope it
trolling.
is because the brother either he's trolling or he knows he's on his way out and he's just trying to make people laugh on the way or something. I don't know, but
It's just a weird it's a weird kind of kind of interview if you think about it.
yeah,
and I've also been
But
seeing things like I saw these clips on TikTok of I understand coaching is a thing in winning games, but I also saw this thing where Tua's decision making when throwing the ball was absolutely atrocious as well.
When I think about that,
Like, because I've seen clips where he had people wide open. He had Tyreek Hill open for long bombs, which he would normally throw if it was 2 years ago. But
you got to remember,
nowadays,
and like and like I'm gonna be, I don't know why I'm defending Tua, but like because he hasn't been playing that good, but when we started like an offense, right, and they kind of set up the play and everything, you got to think about like the decision making and the reads. They go to from 1, 2, 3, and da da da, right, and then they have their
yeah,
emergency with their running back, right. So when they're making a decision, it's because the coaching wants him to go that certain way, and especially because two is a left-handed quarterback, which makes the offense drastically different. By the way, it causes kind of the pattern of like maybe let's say a coach thinking that he might be right. Like not, I know he does. I know he knows he's not right-handed, but I'm saying let's think that he's. Let's say the coach thinks he's thinking from a right-handed standpoint. It might make the offense make it worse if that makes sense because that he's trying to rely on that. So it makes Tua look bad because Tua is trying to go over reads as he's like a left-handed quarterback. It's that in depth, I think, when you think of that offense, especially when it's a spread offense. When you have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek, Devon Chen's better outfield than he is inside the, I think, inside the gaps. So like it just shows when you don't have an offense that's built around actually Tua. I think it shows. So I honestly I do pray that Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and all of them can go to good teams, and maybe they just completely just strictly just tried to kind of just scrape everything out in a sense and just get a bunch of bridge players and then just play out the season, get the first pick for the next 2 years like the Browns did. And the Browns went on a good stun a couple of years ago, so they could do the same thing Miami, I think.
That's true.
But I think another big game we should talk about is the KC and Philadelphia game. I
Yeah.
need everyone to know online, if whoever watches this, and I really believe this so heavily. I really believe Kansas City is still good. I really do. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they show any weakness. I think the problem is when you get a stacked LA team that looks like they're going to win the division already, and you get Philadelphia, a literal Super Bowl champion team last year,
Yeah.
and you face a team that doesn't have their star receiver with Rashid Rice, and you also mix in
totally
a
agree
little
with
bit
you.
of yeah, right. And then you mix in a little bit of the how the schedule is played out for Kansas City. They have a rough schedule. Obviously, they're going to struggle in some games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is something. I've seen some clips of like Kansas City is done being a dynasty. Well, I've heard that a million times as a Patriots fan because of Tom Brady. So I never think I'm never going to count Kansas City out of it. I think if you look at how Patrick Mahomes plays, it's not as bad as people think it is. I think some people need to kind of slow their roll with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No, valid. That's
Philadelphia is Philadelphia. They're going to be always good.
yep.
You can clearly see that Jalen Hurts is a little bit struggling throwing the ball, so they're relying on that run game, which is totally fine. Because I think Saquon's still the best running back in the league,
Oh yeah.
obviously.
For sure. Yeah.
But I think Philadelphia is in a fine place. I think Kansas City's fine, still being 0-2. They're gonna still go. They're gonna at least still win 9 games. I know they will. And yeah,
Another game I
that's
wanted
kind
to
of my
bring
take
up
on it.
was the Packers and Commanders. Obviously, the Packers picking up the W here, and I mean, me and Jake
Yeah,
called it. Jordan Love, good game for him. I mean, he threw
yeah.
19 for 31. It's decent. That's pretty good.
It's okay.
292 yards for 2 touchdowns,
Yeah,
no
that's pretty good.
interceptions. Pretty solid.
That's really good.
Josh
Yeah,
Jacobs touchdown, rushing touchdowns in back-to-back games. Now he's doing his job.
yeah.
But Tucker Kraft low key surprised me though. 6 receptions for 124 yards and got a touchdown
That
as
and then
well.
that's a guy that a lot of people think he's going to be good, and I could see it. It's when a quarterback, a young quarterback, is becoming himself into a good quarterback when
Yeah.
he starts throwing to the tight end. I'm not gonna lie, I've never not seen like an all star quarterback that didn't have a good tight end. Like
Hey,
Drew
that's a
Brees
good
had
point.
Jimmy Graham, Tom Brady had Rob Gronkowski, Peyton Manning had Dallas Clark. Like I could go on. I mean, even like when Peyton Manning went to the Broncos, he still had um, not Demarius Thomas. He had oh my god, I'm drawing a blank now. I think it's maybe Darnell Thomas. He had a really still stud tight end. Someone's gonna flame me in the comments for that, but
You could
he
see,
still had
can
a
you
he
like
had a
see his face, and see his number, but you just can't put a name to him?
it's funny because the Broncos at the time had a receiver named Demarius Thomas, RIP, and then another tight end that had something Thomas. I just can't remember his name,
Mm.
unfortunately. But the point I'm trying to make is you and look at Patrick Mahomes. He has Travis Kelsey. When you have a good uh, kind of a quarterback, he's going to have an elite tight end. I really believe that heavily. So, um, Jordan Love, good quarterback. The Packers have been doing it since fucking the '90s, basically. Brett Favre was a quarterback. They kind of drafted before who was it? I can't remember the guy, but they drafted him in the first round because they liked Brett Favre a lot. Then they did it with Aaron Rodgers, and now they did it with Jordan Love. There's a reason they do it because they want to start early and started developing. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing in the NFL
Yeah.
because rookies can have breakout years, but it takes time to actually develop into like a stud. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Speaking of rookies that have really good years, Jaden Daniels, obviously, I mean, he had a good game, threw for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, pretty decent, but he did go down with a knee sprain. I don't think it was too serious. I think he might. I think he's questionable for next week, but he might be
Yes.
missing. And then Austin Eckler tears his Achilles off the bone. He's gone for the season. That was
Yeah. All right.
devastating. As soon as it
That's
happened,
horrible.
I knew exactly the injury it was. I mean, I mean, and he's 30 years old. Is it time to call it a career? Do you think he can come back from that?
When you're in that type of situation, you're 30 years old. The average age sorry, not the average age. The average seasons for a running back is like around like 7 seasons, like 6, 7. So like the idea is like if you feel you're already at 30 and you have these injuries, um, it might be time. But at the same time, if you have a good rehab and you come in strong, you can maybe go for another season or two. But yeah, after that type of injury, you might be cooked.
Yeah, I mean, an
Especially
injury like that is it's one of the hardest injuries to come back from in all of sports, especially when you're 30 years old. Like,
especially when you got a running back that came out of the woodworks and is literally dominating now for their backfield. So I just think yeah, I think it might be time for Austin Eckler. He was amazing when he was on the Chargers.
oh yeah, for sure.
Um so he's had a good career for a
So what do
running
you
back.
guys sorry to cut you off once again, but
That's okay.
I know it's only been 2 games, but like where would you guys rank the Packers defense so far? Because they seem to be clicking on all cylinders right now.
Oh, I think they're on fire right now. I think if they
I
can keep it up, they're going to be a problem.
I think they are,
I
but
Well, they
say
already are. Yeah.
I say the biggest thing with them is when you look at that D line. Obviously, Micah Parsons stands out. Obviously,
Yeah.
um, but the big thing with their defense is how young it is. I mean, you can't literally beat youth, in my opinion, when it comes to defense. Um, so I feel like it's probably a top three defense. I personally think, honestly, my favorite defense right now in the NFL is Philadelphia still. I still really like them a lot, especially that D line still dominant. Um,
yeah, because like the Detroit Lions were like a contending team last year, and Green Bay made them look silly in Week 1. I mean, the Commanders this week too. Like the Commanders are arguably a contending team as well, and Green Bay
but I think
just bent them over.
there's a couple teams that have kind of have really good defenses. I don't think there's a secure one or two or three. I think it's just there's a bunch of good defenses in the league that have good. They're kind of good roles. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Once everyone like understands their roles on defense, then that's when it clicks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I
I
think
think yeah,
another
when the
game.
communication, when the chemistry builds, you're golden.
I think a game we should talk about is the Buccaneers Texans game.
I was just actually thinking about that, so that we read my mind, man.
Such a good. That was I watched the full game. It
Me
was
too.
such a good game, right till the end.
Yeah,
The
I
Bucks
mean,
are
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I was just gonna say quickly, when you look at the Bucks, I mean, they have everything you need for a team to like honestly win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. But at the same time, they struggle because of just really weird errors. It feels like some of the errors they're having, especially when you don't have sometimes. I don't think they have Tristan Wirfs right now, which is an all-star tackle they have on their team, which can be struggle for them. But then when you look at Houston, a team that's super young, and I like actually CJ Stroud, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Um, and then you add Nick Chubb and Nico Collins and Schultz to that offense. It's a good team. Um, I think the biggest thing is right at the end they didn't manage their time well enough,
Yeah,
and that's why the Buccaneers
definitely.
kind of just took advantage of that at the end there.
Yeah, that was something me and Jake both noticed. Jake called it out especially. Their time management at the end there.
I
I
thought
mean,
for
I'm no
yeah,
scholar, but
yeah, I thought for sure they kneel for the safe or for the fair catch and try and make a play somehow, but they just ran the game out literally.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But that
Um,
I feel like so. I mean, obviously both teams came out scoring. Houston, I think they scored in the first possession of the game.
yep,
Then the Bucks responded fairly quickly, but after that, I feel like in the second and third, well, especially in the third, very defensive. But I feel like it wasn't to the point where it was boring. It was still really intense, and I feel like a lot
yes,
of it was still very like my eyes were still glued to the screen. Um, one thing I want
yeah,
to bring up and Woody Marks. I felt like he stood out. Like he's a rookie, obviously rookie running back. I felt like he did pretty solid. Like he kind of I didn't know anything about him. I was like, who's this dude? Number 27. Like he had a pretty decent run. 3 carries for 14 yards. Nothing crazy, but then he had one reception for 37 yards. And when I saw that reception, like I think he just kind of curled, and it was just like the perfect scenario. And I think he broke a
yeah,
tackle or two. It was kind of nasty, but
yeah.
he stood out, man.
The the good thing with I feel like with the Texans is when you look at the running back room, it's a good running back room. I think Dare Unganababi, I think his name is, or Ugababawi or something. It's a weird name. Yeah, I'm butchering it. I know I am, but he's a good running back too, and especially with Nick Chubb there, and they have a guy named I think Damian Pierce is still there. I could be so wrong. Um, but yeah, that Texans running back room is pretty good.
Isn't Joe
Uh,
Mixon still there too as well? Like
Yeah, he's just
he's
I
just
injured.
think
injured.
yeah, Joe Mixon's injured
Dude,
too.
that's a
Like when he, like
filthy.
I,
That is filthy depth in the back position thing. Like, dude, that's
it
insane.
really is. Yes,
Did you
that
guys
that
see
that
when Baker Mayfield like twisted his ankle or something, and then I think it was Garland Johnson who was chirping him, and he immediately got up
oh,
and
I
went to
saw
grab
that.
Yeah,
him.
he reacted like I thought he broke his leg, but then he's like I don't know, his animations reset as soon as the guy started
Yeah, that
chirping
was
him.
some like GTA type of like
Literally,
I don't know.
the dude had like a lag spike. The dude got up and he just started like beaking off. It was crazy.
But yeah, not Baker though. Baker's always been like that,
And yeah,
especially when
he's
you're
a
in
dog,
Tampa.
dude. He is an
Yeah,
absolute dog.
I
That's
really
one
like
thing
the
I've learned
Buccaneers.
to. That's one thing I've learned about him is that he won't back down.
Yeah. Um. Besides that, there isn't really a lot of. I mean, like we could talk about the Cardinals Panthers, but that's just like they're both
Battle of the
very
Bay.
mediocre teams. And then, I mean, we could talk about the Lions and Bears if you like.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Lions
the
did
line.
their job finally. That's one way
Yeah.
to put that game.
Like
52
One.
piece.
yeah, like me and Evan been talking about it's like a trap game for the Lions.
Yeah, they needed to win that. There was no excuse for them.
I wouldn't call. I mean, I wonder if there's a different name for it. That's not really a trap game for the Lions. I feel like because for the aspect of the idea of a trap game in my eyes is a team that's like undefeated, like 6-0, and they're playing like a shitty team. But they're not shitty enough that they're gonna be like that teams that's undefeated is gonna win. But they're like shitty in the aspect of their record, but they still have that dominance. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Okay, I see
Yeah,
what you
kind
So
of yeah.
so for example, I just think the Lions' biggest thing is when you lose Aaron Glenn as a DC and Ben Johnson as an OC, it's scary as a fan of the Lions. You know what I mean? You're as a fan, you're going to be like, "Oh my god, we lost both our coordinators that literally make us look like we're the best team in the NFL." you get scared. But when you still have Dan Campbell at the helm, and he's a good head coach, and you still literally have every piece on offense. Obviously, Frank Regno retired at the center position, but you had I can't remember the kid's name, but they have a good center they just put in there. So like they're not losing anything that bad. And Aiden Hutchinson is still one of the best D linemen I think in the NFL when it comes to young guys. But yeah, I think the Bears are a young team, and Ben Johnson took over a team that is definitely in a little bit scared position. It's a weird position because I like Caleb Williams, but I also think that how Caleb Williams plays is not how the way Ben Johnson wants to kind of coach a team. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, as adding to that, like I've seen everyone on TikTok and stuff that like Caleb Williams just isn't like he's just like kind of bad because like I've watched him. I've watched like the majority of both games this year, and he's like overthrowing balls like really bad, or even underthrowing balls really bad. Like he's just not. I don't know.
Yeah, I was listening to some of the commentators, and they were saying like he's trying things that you can't get away with in the NFL, but you could in
Yeah.
college. He's not really
So
like
the
it's like you were like you were talking about games translating over. It's not really
yes,
there yet fully.
Like you
Like
can see,
there's signs of it, there's hints of it, but it's
yes,
not there yet.
like you can see his
yeah.
intentions, but like he overthrows balls like 20 yards. It's kind of
Yeah, or
scary.
just simple reads in general. I think maybe he'll miss a cue or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly, but
One one thing big about the NFL, and I really believe this, is like when you look at college football, and this is a big debate a lot of people have, is like you look at Caleb Williams, a guy that played at USC, a school that now is in the Big Ten, obviously, but before was in the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 wasn't really a powerhouse kind of division at all in college. So you're playing these kind of mediocre teams like throughout your college career, and it makes you look really good. Sure, he was at Oklahoma, but Oklahoma is still the Big 12. It's not like the SEC or the Big 10. And if you're in one of those divisions, Big 10 or SEC, you can play in the NFL. I really believe that. Especially if you're in a Power 5 school. There's a reason these teams that are like Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, you look at LSU, these teams that sure they're not like you can get a guy that's mediocre on LSU be way better in the NFL than you can get a guy that's like a powerhouse in like the Midwest Conference because of like just the idea that like they play top dogs every week. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I just think I love Caleb Williams, and I think like you just said exactly what you said actually. There's things that he's done in the like at USC where it's like okay, obviously you're good, but there's things that he does that is like okay, this won't work with a coordinator that wants a pocket passer.
yeah,
A lot of these coordinators want guys that can stay in the pocket, but we're it's bad when you know you're in college and everyone's not playing spread or kind of this power run football. They're playing West Coast football where it's literally five wide. And a lot of the NFL doesn't like the five wide. There's only like two teams in the NFL I can think about right now that would do that. And so because of that, you know, I think that's a big problem for the Taylor Williams trying to kind of that franchise they're trying to build with the Bears. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I think yeah they're
um
in a weird position, but hopefully they can develop him well. I
yeah.
he we the potential is obvious though, so let's just hope for the best for him, I guess.
How about
Yeah.
before we
I
move
don't
on to week three? How about we don't have to like go into full detail, obviously, but like why don't we or what's the word? Not debrief, but kind of briefly go over the Cowboys and Giants game.
I was just actually, that was a good point. I was gonna say,
that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was a shootout. But one thing I want to bring up before we get into the details of the game is about Russell Wilson. A lot of people are like, I hear a lot of noise about doubting him, and I get it. Like he has obviously they're 0-2 right now, but he threw for almost 500 yards, didn't he? Like in that last game, like he
He's
did
leading
not
the
play
NFL in
bad.
passing yards.
Yeah, literally, he did not play bad. It's just it's. I
And
mean,
that
No.
was like that was a game where I was like pretty defensive. It was like 17-16 going to the third, and all of a sudden it was like 40 points in the fourth quarter combined. Like where the hell did that come from? Like they're
Yeah, I
just like
that just
like yeah, like Jalen Smith or not Jalen Smith. Russell Wilson was just throwing like 80-yard bombs to Malik Neighbors in the fourth quarter. Like It was
Neighbors
crazy.
is a dog. I really like that guy.
Yeah.
He is really good.
And I feel like he kind of got like I don't know. Daniel Jones clearly it wasn't working out for him last year in New York, but I feel like I don't
Yeah.
know. Russell Wilson has a connection with Malik Neighbors, sort of, and it's kind of showing right now.
Yeah, I think it just also with the quarterback room. You have Jameis Winston in that room that makes it so like more this like easier to be like chill out. You know what I mean? Jackson Dart's a good quarterback, but when you have like a kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? When you have kind of like a group around you that can kind of support you and be happy and not like be so kind of be confident. That's what I'm looking for. Be confident and not like kind of discourage you. Sean Payton, a guy when he was on the Broncos. We got to remember. This is one of the things I was going to mention actually. When Russell Wilson played on the Broncos and then he went to the Steelers, right? Like there's a big difference in between the coaching, right? Like both
Mm.
coaches are like guys that have like solidified themselves by having those big quarterbacks. Sean Payton obviously was with New Orleans a couple of years ago with Drew Brees, and Mike Tomlin's always had Ben Roethlisberger. So he's like, still they've had those quarterbacks where they're like not really like kind of like runners, if that makes sense. Where Russell Wilson's always been like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So especially Russell Wilson being like a really old quarterback now, like he is a literal actual veteran in the
Yeah, he's
NFL.
like 36 or something now, so
Yeah, so he's definitely he's at it. It's definitely the dog days for him. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, but yeah,
Um,
yeah. But is there anything else we want to bring up before we get into the previews of week 3?
I'm fine.
Okay. Jake, you got anything else?
I'm just trying to think. I don't think so off the top of my head.
Okay.
I mean, I mean, I was gonna maybe briefly talk about the Patriots, but again, I like my Patriots where we play the Dolphins, so like I don't really want to talk about them because the Dolphins are really fucking horrible. So like, you know what I mean? Like,
Speaking of the Dolphins, though, and getting into Week 3 here, the preview Thursday night game, the only Thursday night game, we got the we got the Bills and the Dolphins.
That's gonna be
that's gonna be
that's
an
gonna be like the Jets game.
actual.
That's gonna be
We
a
will
record.
need
I
a
was about
police
to,
presence because that will be a slaughter fest. Okay, the Buffalo
that
Bills
will
will
literally.
feast.
Yes. No, honestly, I think when you look at that, that just sounds like actual. I'm
Well,
not gonna say it, but
I know the words you're thinking of
you
though.
know what
Yeah,
I'm
we
like
thinking.
you guys think that could potentially be a trap game for the Bills?
Low key,
Potentially.
look
if
kinda.
where is it in Buffalo? I
Yeah,
can't
they're in
remember
Buffalo.
it.
Yeah, they're in Buffalo.
Yeah, no, that's not a trap game at all. That is not a
No,
trap game.
no, okay.
Miami has to go all the way up to Buffalo in September. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that being that.
I think Buffalo is going to have their way with them, and that's probably the best way to put it, or the most PG way to put it. We all know what we're talking about here, though.
I honestly think they could put up 50 points.
I think that might be lowballing it. To be honest, I think they might go for a 60 piece,
I might be eyeballing it, but
maybe.
we'll
But
see.
I think we're gonna watch the Dolphins win like 17-9 or something. Like we
Now
just.
thinking about it, there is something I want to talk about before. I know we just talked about this Thursday, but I want to say this real quick. Did you guys see Josh Allen go down last week or no?
I did not.
No, I didn't.
He got hit really weirdly, and then he took himself out of the game for like I think it was a one quarter.
Oh damn, that kind of
Yeah,
that's
Huh.
kind
but
of
that's
brutal.
just scary. I was gonna say that for really like kind of just really quickly like that's kind of scary when you look at a Buffalo team that just really kind of like leans on Josh Allen to be their
Oh,
like
he's their heart and soul.
savior.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyways,
hopefully that doesn't mess up too much. I mean, I still think the Buffalo's going to take the win, but
yeah, I do
um,
agree.
either way, the Sunday night
Anyway,
games we got the Bengals and we got the Vikings.
It's on
I
Sunday
think
night.
Sunday night. Sunday morning. Sorry, my bad. My apologies. My apologies. But I think that game sort of depends on JJ McCarthy.
I still have faith Bengals will win.
I think so too.
like not my non-biased opinion. I still have faith that the Bengals can pull that off.
Yeah,
I think the Vikings actually win
But
that game
like,
personally.
that I think it'll be close. It's not going to be like a walk off.
Yes.
I think it.
yeah, it's
Well,
gonna be a tight
Yeah.
game, but like our O line can struggle sometimes, and that D line for the Vikings is pretty solid. So we'll see.
that's true. Okay, so you got the Vikings, we got the Bengals. That's fair.
Yep.
Next up we got the Patriots, and we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm probably
See,
gonna go with the Steelers myself, but
yeah. Honestly, as someone that's seen the Patriots play this week, That being said, with how the Steelers have had those kind of mistakes,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots came around. I'm going to obviously pick the Patriots, but the Steelers obviously show that they could be really good, but, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel like I agree with you on that. I think that the Steelers will win, but I think it's kind of close because, like you're saying, I feel like Aaron Rodgers was kind of out there left. He was left dry, high and dry by his receiving core. I feel like they weren't. I don't know. I feel like one, just from what I watched, there was
Yeah.
a lot of mistakes. But what do you think,
Not
Jake?
I don't know. This could I think this will either be a blowout for one side or it'll be like a pretty one score game kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see for that one.
I think I'm edging the Steelers with this one, but it could be pretty close. We'll see.
all right.
Yes.
Next up, we got the Colts and the Titans. Colts, 100%. I'm taking the Colts with all due respect.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to pick the Titans here.
I had a feeling someone was going to.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the Colts
I
can't.
like the Colts.
This
I
hot
like
streak
the
isn't gonna
Colts,
last
but
forever.
as someone that's in our actual podcast right now, I do not want Ricky going 3-0 with the Colts, so I'd like to see the Titans.
Yeah,
Because
Ricky's
as soon as
gonna.
I saw from the Colts going 2-0, I'm like, could Ricky be on to something right now? Like, he picked them going 15-2. That's outrageous.
And
But
he also called the comeback for Buffalo, so he might be on some shit this year, dude. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
But
right.
yeah, I still I have faith in Cam Ward out in Tennessee, but I still think the Colts win. You
Fair
know,
enough. That's valid. Houston and Jacksonville.
I think that's the game Houston could win. They probably need this win.
I think they need to win this one. If they don't win that, I think you need to sound the alarms, or at least start
Yes,
sounding the alarms.
because especially with how good that roster is, I feel like
Dude, they're
you need to
yeah,
win.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a must-win
Uh,
game for
I
Houston.
I think Houston wins that one too.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so we're all unanimous decision. Houston will win that
Yeah,
one. We got Atlanta and we got Carolina. Who do we got?
I like Carolina a lot. I don't know why. I'm still gonna ride that boat. I got some for my predictions. I think I'm 0-2 with my predictions with the Carolina right now, which kind of sucks. But I'm still gonna ride that boat. I like them.
I feel like Atlanta's a team they could beat. I think they can get that done.
Because it's about the young quarterbacks, Michael Penix and Bryce Young. But
Yeah, Michael Penix, he looked okay
Atlanta beat
against the
the
Vikings,
Vikings,
right?
right?
Yeah.
yeah, they get.
Right. So
So I still think the Falcons. I think they'll rely on Bijan a lot again,
Well,
but
they usually do. That's kind of their game plan. But yeah, I think
they really
Carolina can
do.
pull through.
because
Yeah.
I think Robinson himself had more yards than the whole Vikings team.
That's kind of funny. Um, Next up, though, we got the Rams and we got I almost said the Philadelphia 76ers. We got the Philadelphia Eagles. I probably they're both 2-0. I think the Eagles got it though.
I don't. Did the Rams have a bye, or who did the Rams play last week?
They played the Titans last week. They beat them 33-19.
That's why we didn't talk about it because they beat them. I get. I'm gonna say this like this is my only like okay. I'm saying this right now, and this is like a big part of the actual podcast. I don't know how we're gonna think about this. The Rams is the best team in the NFL right now.
Holy, that's
I
a hot
don't.
take. Okay.
I don't think there's a better team. I think when you look at that strictly from
So
their
you think
quarterback receiver room, their running back room.
so you think the Super Bowl team is potentially back?
I think that team literally right now, in my opinion, obviously you have to put Philadelphia at one because it's like they're the Super Bowl champs. But literally, I really believe that team. Like I'm a Patriots fan, and even if they played the Patriots, I'm still thinking the Rams are winning right now. I think the Rams are so good, and I'm not even trying to glaze, but like when you look at that D line, that is, in my opinion, that is the best D line I've seen, even without Aaron Donald.
Aaron Rodgers.
The Yeah, right. The Even with that D line they have right now, I still think that's like a top five defensive line I've seen in the last like 10 years. It is so dominant. It is so good.
Because I mean, I think the Rams are almost like the definition of they'll either give you 6 points or 36 points. No in between, like they did the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Like last week they gave 33. Like for that only 14. So I don't know. I guess probably the best defense in the league in Philadelphia. I think this will be a war.
Yeah, it's gonna be this actually kind of defines what the NFC is gonna be for
This
that
will
kind of
probably
that
be the
first
game
group.
of the week, if I'd say.
Could be.
Yeah,
But
Um,
I think I don't know where to go with this. Like,
I got the Eagles personally.
I'm kind of edging towards the Eagles as well, but
I like the Eagles. I think they're still a really good team. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Rams, but like I am like very very sure the Rams are a better team in my
because I
opinion.
think that game relies on how Jalen Hurts plays. If he has a bad game, they lose.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here though. Then we got the Jets and the Bucks. Low key, I think the Jets can pull through. That's a hot take.
Jets versus Jets versus Bucks. I
I
kind of see it honestly, but I think it's in Tampa, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
New York doesn't have a good time. I think like New York teams in like just the state of Florida really struggle. So um, I'm gonna say probably the Bucks.
yeah. I'm also leaning towards the Bucks
I think
myself.
it's gonna be close. Okay, maybe now that I'm
It's
thinking
close.
about it,
It's super close though. Like you could say the Jets, and like either way, you're like, okay, it makes sense. You know what I mean?
matter of fact, I'm changing my answer. I think Baker's gonna pop off in the fourth quarter again. Let's go. Las Vegas and Washington. That's kind of fairly even. I don't. Obviously, if Jaden
That's a
Daniels
weird
doesn't
game.
play,
I think. Yeah, I don't know. Did they say Daniels is gonna play or
I
no?
think he's questionable.
If he plays, I say they win, and if they don't play,
I
I
think
say
I think if he doesn't play, they still like win, but not by much.
like I think it's by like one at most.
So okay, so it's gonna be kind of yeah. Okay, I can see it being very close.
And they're in Washington too, so
Yeah, right. Like yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going Washington for that one. But if I think I'll go Washington. Um, Next up though we got Green Bay and we got Cleveland. I think Cleveland's gonna. Why did I say Cleveland? I think Green
I
Bay's
was gonna
gonna
say you're
destroy them.
smoking something.
I don't know what the hell is going. I think I just as soon as I said that I just lost all words
I
because I
thought
was
you
like
were
I
gonna
didn't mean to say that team.
I thought you were like trying to like
I
say
like Green
Cleveland will
Bay here.
get like dogged on or something.
Yeah, no, yeah, Green Bay is gonna absolutely destroy them. I think that's probably unanimous.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to talk about that. It's just Green Bay is gonna win that one.
Yeah, Chargers and we got the Denver Broncos. That could be a pretty interesting game.
I like the Chargers here.
I think
Okay,
so too.
I think another thing I was gonna say. I think the Chargers are like a top two, top not top two. I'd say a top five AFC team right now. I think they're so good right now.
But like, how do we think the injury to Khalil Mack will affect their defense?
You know, he's an old guy too. Like I don't
And
think
I
it's
was gonna
gonna
say
be that
he's like
bad for them.
35, 34 now, right?
He's given it gives like really like kind of like bridge, but like kind of like a star bridge player vibes. So like I'm not like like I'm not gonna say it's gonna like destroy the game if he's not playing, but it's gonna you'll see a little bit of effect.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, and their defense has been playing pretty solid. So yeah, I think I also take the Chargers here.
Yeah, I'll take the Chargers as well. Okay, unanimous there. Next up, we got the Saints and the Seahawks. That's kind of battle of mid. I'll probably go with the Saints just because I don't know.
I like the Seahawks here, but either way,
You're going the
it's
Saints?
Why not? Rashid Shaheed, carry me. I'm gonna
Okay.
need. I
yeah.
I need a
Honestly,
big week after frickin' Smith on the
Raiders
no
or the Eagles.
Eagles. Yeah, after he sold me for 2 weeks
if
straight.
if the Seahawks can beat the Steelers, I think they can beat the Saints.
Yeah, I mean they should. I'm wishful
Yeah,
thinking at best.
The Saints are probably like one of those practice games, but I shouldn't discourage the Saints that much. But I still have the Seahawks here too.
Okay, so 2-1. That's fine. Next up we got Arizona and San Fran. They're both 2-0. That's something, but I think Arizona's
Okay,
faced probably substantially worse teams.
but we got to remember this: Brock Purdy's still out, and until he says he's active, I think Arizona wins this game
And
right
George
now.
Kittle as well. Isn't he gone too?
Yeah, he's out for a few weeks as well.
Okay.
I like Mac Jones and I love CMC, but we got to think about it. I've said this. I said this to Ricky before even the season started, and I think I have screenshots of it. I said Arizona and Carolina were going to be the two teams that were breakout. Carolina hasn't really been showing it, but Arizona has. When you get a receiver like Marvin Harrison Like now looking how he's playing,
Yeah.
and James Conner going, and Kyler Murray was already good. I feel like in my mind
Yeah.
with with a defense that isn't as good as people think it is, but it gets you through a game to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I think especially with how the Niners played against the Saints, I think Cardinals just kind of take
Yeah,
this
I
win
saw
against
that.
them.
Yeah, the Niners low-key struggled against the Saints. I saw that. But yeah,
So
so yeah, I agree. I take the Cardinals as
I'll
well.
take the Cards as well. Yeah. And they need to win these games if they want to have a hope in hell and make the playoffs. They got to take advantage of injuries and stuff like that. So
yeah, right. Especially because Arizona is the type of team I wouldn't be surprised they go at 9-0 and then they lose the last 10 or
yeah,
the last
that
8.
would be a
Sorry.
very Arizona thing to do. So I could give you that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. Where do we go with that one?
I'm gonna be
Uh,
honest with y'all. I'm gonna go crazy and I'm gonna say the Bears.
You think so?
Yeah, I actually hold on. Like,
I was about to say you better
I
retract that
forgot.
statement.
They have that Dak Prescott still. So let me say the Cowboys. I'm not gonna be stupid. I think the Cowboys are better than the Bears
I
for
mean,
sure.
Stephen A. Smith is going with the Bears, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going with the Cowboys as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
that'll make three of us.
Okay. Last Sunday game, we got the Chiefs and the Giants, both 0-2. Both some pretty unfortunate situations with the injuries in Kansas City, and then obviously just the unfortunate
yeah.
events going on in New York. Where do we go with that one, boys?
I say okay. I had a stroke. Sorry. I I say the Chiefs are gonna win, but I also think how the Giants played against the Cowboys. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs kind of like sell the bag a little bit in the first half, if that makes sense. But I don't see the Giants completely winning though.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs have their rebound game here.
Yeah, I'm calling a Chiefs win, but like a 400 plus throwing yards for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, right.
Just cause why not, eh? But then the Monday night we got a barn burner, dude. We got the Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens, dude. That's gonna feed
That's the game of the
families.
yeah. That's gonna be actually the. I know that me and Jake were saying about the Rams and Eagles, but like that's actually
Yeah,
a legitimate like
Yeah, that's
game of the
probably
week
like
right there.
yeah, okay. Like both of them have arguments, but I think this might top it briefly.
Yeah,
But
and personally, it's in Baltimore.
yeah,
Such a weird area for Detroit to play. I don't know why. It just sounds weird.
because the home team's on the bottom, right? I'm pretty sure.
Pardon?
Like the home team's on the bottom. I'm pretty sure.
well, that's just the way we're looking at him. I don't know if he's looking at it the
I
same way.
I I have no idea to be honest. It would
Actually, you could
just
just
say
preview the game. I'm sure it's
when
sure
it
it's
when it says at, or if it says
Ravens
Detroit's
are at home.
verse
Okay, yeah, Ravens
Ravens.
are home. Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah,
Okay, both
I
teams
say
are
Baltimore wins.
very high power offensively, and they have also pretty
Yes,
solid
very high.
defense. This could be like arguably the game of the year. I
Dude,
think
it's
if all works how I think it will.
bro. It is
I
neck
say
and
Ravens
neck.
win, and then it's going to come down to like the last minute. Jared Goff's going to throw it, and then new addition Jair Alexander is going to pick him off.
Yeah, I think this will come down to the final seconds. I agree with that.
Yeah,
But
it might be like a field goal win type game.
it's either gonna be a
Yeah,
shootout or like a mid like to defensive game.
Yeah, who knows? Honestly, I think I'll probably give the win to the Ravens, but like I said, it's gonna be extremely close.
I want to go the Ravens as
yeah,
well, but I'm gonna go with a different route. I'm gonna go the Lions this time.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, I think that'll wrap it up for the podcast today. We kind of talked about a lot of things, probably damn near everything. So hopefully our predictions go through and we get
yeah, right.
some W's there. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys like this podcast, make sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, share with your friend, watch it with your dog, do whatever you please. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Adios.
See y'all.